Yo, what's up? It's DNA for sure, also known as Laura DNA, also known as Laura Homeboy. And this video is about how to beat a drug test. Now, I got this question from one of the homies, and yeah, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and do all that good stuff. So, when beating a drug test for weed, I'm gonna give you a couple tips. Now, the first piece of information that I want to give you is everybody's body's different, which you already know. Some people, if you're a heavy smoker and you smoke weed every day and you've been smoking weed every day for 5 years, the longest that people say that it could take traces of marijuana to be in your blood at least is is a year, is 1 year. Now the average person, if you are a heavy smoker, it could take up to maybe 2 months to get out of your urine. But weed stores in your fat cells, THC stores in your fat cells. So you having a certain amount of fat or a certain body fat percentage affects your drops. Me, when I was getting drug tested when I was 17 and 18, I only had about 3% body fat. And even right now, I can't have more than a 5% body fat. But with that, it takes me 6 days to get clean, to get weed out of my system. It doesn't take me more than 8 days for me to get marijuana out of my system. If I take 2 hits of weed, 2 medium hits of weed every day, up until the drug test, up until maybe 2 days before the drug test, I'm not gonna fucking test positive. So you need to learn your body like that. Just even for future reference, buy a couple drug tests, and yeah, this is gonna cost like $30, $10 a drug test for the urine drug test where you put it in the little cup or whatever. But how you what you should not do to beat a drug test? Do not fucking don't take. There's one that my one of the homies told me about. He's not gonna he won't tell me the name of it, but there's some shit that's illegal over here that you can get in Trinidad that that cleans out your system in like I think your second or third piss or something like that. But everything over here, nothing. I used to hang out with people who worked at my local smoke shop called Smoke 911 in Sandy Springs for about 3 years. All of them said the same shit. These fucking little pills and those drinks and juices do not fucking work. All the shit on the internet with the jello and all that shit and the creatine, that might work. But the cheapest, easiest, quickest way is water. Now, if you know you're gonna get a drug test within, I think it takes about 3 hours to do this. If you know you're gonna get a drug test within 3 hours, you could like chug a half gallon of water. That'll work. Now, if you want to clean your system, I think this lasts about 3 days. If you don't smoke weed, drink a whole bottle of water. I mean, a whole gallon of water in like less than 5 hours. I think 4 hours. Drink a whole gallon of water. It's hard. You're not gonna start pissing until you're like a little bit less than half, a little bit more than halfway through because you are drinking so much. But also, that can be bad because it can shock your system. It can make you throw up. It can make you all woozy. You get a headache. You feel really funny. Especially if you're not eating or you didn't eat anything, which I don't think you're supposed to. I haven't done this in a minute. But the problem with that is it's gonna shock your system. You could fuck around and fuck it up and throw up all the water. It's gonna give you a little headache because you're cleansing your body so quickly. But the easiest thing to get your system clean in 3 days, um, or it could take a week. But a lot of people just start working out, stop eating meat, start eating healthy. Now, if you do this, let's say you're really unhealthy or you're overweight or some shit, and you have a lot of body fat, and you don't think that's gonna work. If you just turn around, if you shock your system too much, it's gonna start producing more THC that is gonna start releasing it. It could make you start producing more body fat, or you burning the body fat might release more THC just as a way of your body reacting to this emergency situation. It could put your body in survival mode. That's why you don't starve yourself before a fucking drug test if you are gonna take that route. If you do what you've been doing, but you just going totally vegetarian, fucking eating all fresh fruits and vegetables, drinking hella water, working out, and fucking 2 or 3 days, that's probably not gonna work because you're gonna shock your system and your system's gonna release more THC. I'm not a fucking doctor. People have told me this. Overweight people have told me this. I read it. I studied the whole science behind it. I know about the survival mode feeling. Um, but the easiest way for you to beat a drug test is drinking water. Now, I'm gonna tell you this one story. So I got to Illinois and I got a job probably within a month, a couple weeks after my birthday. They needed me to drug test 48 hours after I got my interview. So what I did was I went to one of these little kids, paid him about $5, $10. I think it was like $5, and I told him to fill up this cup with piss. I put the piss in the fucking freezer overnight, took it out, put it in the microwave for about a minute, wrapped some hand warmers around it, and no, I put the cup in the microwave, then I poured the piss in the condom. Now the problem with this, if you put the piss in there for too long, it's gonna get darker and it's gonna age. And it's gonna look like you kept piss in a bottle or in a container for a couple days. I put it in the condom, tied it up. I put my basketball shorts. I tied the condom to my basketball shorts. And then I put a safety pin, probably in my shoe or some shit like that, for a job drug test. They're not gonna sit there and look over your dick, so that's cool. They're not gonna have somebody go in there with you in the stall and shit. The only thing was I couldn't flush the toilet and I couldn't turn on the water until after I showed her that everything was all good. So yeah, I popped the condom. I had to poke like fucking 10 holes in that bitch. Put the piss in the drug test. Um, if it's too hot, it's gonna send a red flag. You're not gonna pass. If you have female piss, they shake it up. They have chemicals in this cup, and if they shake it up, they can tell whether it's woman or male or female piss. So get the piss of your gender if you're gonna do this. And that's it. I mean, I had to put the safety pin wherever the fuck I put it, and I kept the fucking dripping wet condom on me, and I had to throw that shit away when I got back to my car. But that works. Wizinators work, and that's it. So the cheapest, quickest thing to do, drinking water. And if you could find that fucking form, that shit in Trinidad, and get somebody to fucking smuggle that shit over for you, or send it to you, that shit works. I'm gonna make another video about smoking weed. It's gonna be on the withdrawal symptoms and how to beat it and shit. But yeah, that's it. That's how you pass a drug test. Don't do this if you're on probation or parole in Illinois, because trying to fucking beat a drug test like that with any kind of gadgets or devices is another fucking felony So don't do that. And that's it. It's DNA for short. Peace.